Jeremy, you're in it. Jeremy, your face is in it.
Oh wow. Is it recording?
Yes.
Oh.
You just cracked the screen,
All right.
Jeremy.
There.
You want us to write that?
Yeah, I want you to write this on your notes. So there are two types of situations. I'm going to talk about start at x equal to 0. At all those cases, it's x start at 0. The graph's going to be at 0. So I'm going to start by telling you what a sine graph looks like. The sine graph usually is start at a 0 and it's going to go up and come back to the middle and going to go down and going to come back up. Or they could go down, pretend the coefficient is negative, it's going to go down, middle, up, down. So there are two situations, right? So here's a situation that you're going to have. So y equal to sine of x. So this pretty much is going to go like this. Does that make sense? So this is going to be 2 pi here, this is going to be pi. Now y is equal to negative sine of x. What does that do? It goes down first, so it's going to go down and it's going to go up. Okay? How about y is equal to cosine of x? It starts at where?
Up here and then goes
You start at the top, so it's going to be start at 1 and finish at 2 pi. It's going to go here, it's going to be pi, and here's pi over 2, and here's 3 pi over 2. So it's going to go like this, and you're going to go down, go up, come back up. Are we okay here? How about y equal to negative cosine? You're going to start at where? You're going to start at the bottom at negative 1. And here pi over 2, here pi. So it's going to go up, come back down, to middle, and go back here. So if you are looking at this, you can come up with something. So what we're going to do is I'm going to come up with a chart. A chart that makes sense. So there are 3 different situations, right? This is a midline, right? This is the middle, right? So it's a midline, and there's a minimum, and there's maximum. So there's 3 possible choices. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down a midline, or I'm going to shorthand as mid. Mid has in the middle, and also maximum. I'm going to start from max. And the minimum is going to be min. So we're going to come up with this. So sine start at where? Mid or max? Or min?
Mid.
It's midline, right? So sine, so positive sine is going to go here. Negative sine is going to go here. It's going to go down. So sine, positive sine is going to go up. Negative sine is going to go down. But I start at the middle. But cosine, this one start at where?
The top maximum.
Positive cosine, it start at the top, right? And negative cosine start at the bottom. So what happened is, pretty much this is the only thing I kind of see. I kind of see this. So if I have positive sine start at the middle, and it's going to go up, and this is going to go down, all right? If positive cosine start at max, and go down. And this start at min, go up. Does that make sense? How many of you guys kind of lost? No? Okay. Let's start with general graph. So make sure you have this down or those full graph down. Either one, however, going to help you memorize it. However gonna help you memorize it, you need to do however you do it. I like the chart. Some people memorize the graph, and I don't care either way, as long as you understand what's going on. So we're gonna have the situations right here. Y equal to a sine of bx. There was no vertical shift, there's no horizontal shift, so the midline is always gonna be at 0. In this case. On the other side, the midline is going to be at D. So I will get some key information first. Those are the key information, but I don't grab by the key information. I start by looking at the key information, so I'm going to grab this functions. Y is equal to 2 sine of x.
What?
2 sine of x. So here's the key information. What is the amplitude?
2.
Make sure you're gonna do absolute value of 2. Because if it's a -2, your amplitude is still +2. That could be a first trick question.
But it's like 2. But then if it goes down, it's still 2, right?
Yeah, still go 2, so that's why you do absolute value. You wanna be safe, if this one's -2, then I'm gonna go +2. Does that make sense right now? How about periods? Well, did we go over periods yesterday?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, we did. It's
fire
from
alarm.
The fire alarm didn't.
Yeah, peak to peak, okay? Also the fire alarm. So it's from peak to peak. So literally from peak to peak, that's a period. From peak to peak, to trough is period. Or from midline and skipping another midline. So not here, but here. That's whole period. From here to here, that's a period. So periods.
It's just 2 bumps.
So periods.
It's not 2 bumps because
Periods?
have 2 bumps.
Okay, so period is gonna be, now this is the equation you have to memorize, please. So I'm gonna do absolute value A, that's in this case is 2. So this is what you have to memorize. Amplitude is absolute value A. Period is what? 2 pi over B. B is a number in front of X. So in this case is 2 pi over 1. That's equal to 2 pi. So usually I will write down stuff. This is the first step. The second step I write down. The third things I'm writing down is the quarter periods. So what is quarter periods?
Length of a period.
It's the half height.
Quarter period is, do you see that there's a quarter period here? It's every quarter period. This is the whole period, right? If I go by quarter, do you see that there's a major change? It went from max to min to mid, so it has a major change. So every quarter period there's a major change. So therefore, a quarter period here is gonna be 2 pi divided by 4.
Could be 2 pi over 4.
No, you divide. I'm going to show you why I divide, because they down is going to help you, because if it's 1/2 pi divided by 4, then you have to keep change flip it. So times 1 over 4, now it's 2 pi over 4, now it's equal to pi over 2.
Okay.
Wait, we're
Give
doing
it a
1
minute.
over 4 for 4.
Because it's quarters. So we put, I'm still like trying to process the thing. Okay, so I get the quarter period, so the period, why the 1, like the, for B? Like, why is B equal to 1 in the second one?
Because I hear there's a 1.
Because B, look at the equation.
That's the equation I give it to you. There's a
I'm
number
like-
in front of
I'm
X.
a little
Oh,
blind.
that's what we're
Look at the one above it.
Same one.
Like y equals a sine b of it.
Okay, so since it doesn't have like a B, so you would put 1.
No.
It has a b.
X
always gonna be
plus
1?
2 is equal to 5. What's the number in front of X?
3.
In
front of x.
Oh, in front of X, 1.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's still 1 there.
Where'd you get the 4
Okay.
Where'd you
Okay.
get the 4 from?
For quarter period?
Quarter
'Cause it's a quarter.
divided by 4.
Oh, okay.
Or times 1 over 4. That's a better way to look at it.
So it's just the period divided by 4. Oh.
Now your starting point is always at 0 for now. later on it's gonna change, not at 0. So my starting point is basically it's gonna be x0. It's gonna be 0 right now because later on it's gonna change. Now you should have a 5 points, and they just have incremental changes. So x5. So now I'm just gonna go with the starting point is at 0. And it's gonna add every quarter period because quarter period is gonna change. So basically I'm gonna do pi over 2. I'm gonna do 2 pi over 2. Do you see that? I just add pi over 2 each time. 3 pi over 2. And then 4 pi over 2. Basically I just keep in the same denominator. That make my life easier.
Why 5?
You missed 4.
Yeah, you missed 4. Isn't it 4? It's 3, 4, 5.
4.
I was like, 5.
Okay? So does that make sense? Okay, so now we're gonna go back to using this. Okay? So Bryce, you might want to change the middle here. So y equal to 2 sine of x. It's okay. Okay, so now we have a graph, and we're gonna start by graphing here. So you can use the packet I give it to you, and you can use the first one here. So if it's a 2 sine of x, so I'm gonna start at graphing here is 0, right? Now, where the midline is, this midline is what? Midline is 0, right? So then it's gonna go, the next thing is gonna go quarter period. What's quarter period? Pi over 2, according to that, right? So you got 0, pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, 4 pi over 2. I'm gonna plug in. So pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 2, and then 4 pi over 2. I didn't simplify it for a reason, because it makes easier for me to add fractions. So pi over 2, 2 pi over 2, 3 pi over 4, 2 pi over 2, 4 pi over 2, and that's gonna have a major change. Sorry. So now I'm gonna go up. The next thing is I'm start at the midline. I'm start at the middle, and then this is positive. So the next thing is gonna go what? Up. Up how many units? 2 units. So it'll be 1, 2. So that's how you graph it. Now you can probably assume what's the next thing gonna go. If it go into the maximum, what happened? Go down. What happened at the middle?
It goes to the minimum.
Go to minimum. It's 2 units. It's 2 units. So that's how you do it. And then usually the teacher will ask you to grab 2 periods. So you're just gonna grab one. You can do 1 period in the front and 1 period in the back, or you're just gonna do 2 periods here. So right here is gonna be 5 pi over 2, and 6 pi over 2, and 7 pi over 2, and 8 pi over 2, which is, that's 2 periods. But it kind of makes sense because period is 2 pi, because 4 pi over 2 is 2 pi, and now here is going to be here. I simplify afterwards, so this is equal to pi, this is equal to 2 pi, this is equal to 3 pi, and this is equal to 4 pi. Are you following me so far? Okay, so I want you to graph this. I want you to find all the information. Using the grid I give it to you. I'm going to ask you to graph this. -3 sine of 2x. -3 sine of 2x. Okay? Using the graphing grid I give it to you.
The packet?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you need more? I will use the one on the stapler like this side. It says all the way to -3 pi to +3 pi. Anybody else need one? Go with 3 pi, -3 pi. So we're gonna graph the first one. It says y equal to -3 sine of 2x. So find period first, find amplitude, periods, and finding all those quarter points, and then just add each one. It's pretty much just add each quarter period each time. So from here to here, just add pi over 2, and add pi over 2, and then add pi over 2, and add pi over 2. But over there it's maybe different, because your quarter period might be different on this case. If you need help, you let me know. Raise your hand. Not sure of something, we can go on further.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for your help right now.
Okay.
So instead of, so you would put, 2, 3 over.
That's a -3 sine of 2x.
Okay.
We're
so-
graphing that one.
Yeah, but I don't get the period now, what do you do?
Okay, do you get amplitude?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
3.
Okay, good. First step done. Second step, what is period? What is the period?
To do 3 pi.
What is it? What's the equation for periods? Right here. If you need anything, it's right here, right? So it's gonna be here. Right? This is the one that you needed for your notes. Okay, quarter period is basically whatever 2 pi over b divided by 4. So those are the key informations. 1, 2, 3.
So it would be 2 pi over.
Good.
Okay.
So what is my period? Good. So what's my quarter period?
Pi over 4. No. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then now you write down x0, x1, x2, x3, x4. It's gonna based on those informations. And then everything's gonna have an increment changes. So you're gonna ask your group leader how to do that? Yeah, if you for sure you grab a pencil though, don't use pen. Okay.
Bryce, you need to get a pencil for that.
Okay.
I know how to use it.
Okay.
That's it.
Can you find period first? Can you find amplitude first? It's over there. Amplitude is absolute value of A, right?
No, I wasn't right. Did you say anything?
A will be absolute value of A.
Wait, so for period, is it always correct?
Why are you saying no?
Amelia! Amelia!
If you grab it, let me check.
Okay, listen. I did it in pen on one side.
Okay, good. Make sure those two people know how to do it.
Did you get 5
Okay.
This is 5 over 6.
Yeah, I realized that.
Yeah.
There's a reason why.
Oh, dude, on the back.
Yeah, but you have to, because it's not 5 over 6. Quarter period is not 5 over 6. So why is it wrong? Okay, grab more than one period.
Okay.
Okay, what is quarter period? No. B, this is B, 2. This is not B. Look, 2 pi over B. What is B?
No, but you see how like the x is 2,
You
like
get it?
Jeremy is equal to 2 pi over 2, that's something. So then that would.
No, this is wrong.
Okay, I'm confused.
This is a period. This is from here to here. That's not right. You have to find a quarter period. Why do you guys not follow direction? Find periods and then quarter periods. That means each period is gonna change. Your B is right here. It's A sine BX. So B is 2. So it should be 2 pi over 2. Not 3 pi over 2. Where'd you get 3 from? 3 is amplitude. It says A.
I got everything else. The question. And then you have 2 pi.
first one I got is pi over 4, right? So pi over 4 divided by 3.
Yeah, but wait, look at your amplitude. What's your amplitude? Absolute value of negative 3.
Just 3?
Yeah, but look at
Yeah,
your max
if you look
and
at the
minimum
chart,
chart.
it says negative
Are you going up or down?
Well,
It's negative sign.
oh, so it'd be
You start.
not everywhere.
Can you use a pencil?
I'm trying to get one. Yeah.
Then what's the next one? Pi over 2.
Negative, up and down.
Okay,
Yep, and that's one period.
Ran out of
Is that
patience.
where No.
I will get back by the end of the period. I'll get back by the period.
That's that one.
Like,
Make sure it does
Pi
two.
over 2. You're going between. Break down 3, yeah. And then go back.
Well, I don't need a pencil. Well, for this I do, but usually I don't.
You always do.
No.
You don't do math in pen, unless you're awesome. Yes.
I just cross it out if it's wrong.
Unless you're perfect, you don't use pen in this class. Are you perfect? Definitely not.
Your period is pi, not 2 pi.
You got it wrong.
And so when you have the right period, you have pi. But then when you do your quarter periods, you multiply it by 2 pi. When you do quarter periods, you multiply by what your period is, not what your not period is. You multiply by the previous one. You gotta use pi.
Look at this. You guys have to know how to break a fraction.
Pi times
One fraction over again, second, third grade. What? Yeah, we're gonna give it another one. But can you, yeah.
Yeah. It's just, yeah, you keep graphing that. Keep going. Yeah. Can I just borrow the pencil so that we can
Come
stop
over here.
here?
You can teach her. No.
Alright.
No, I need somebody to teach somebody. I don't have enough hand to teach people how to do fractions.
Okay, I have to ask you a question. Okay. Like, I know she explains it.
Look,
Yeah. So you go down to 3.
No,
So you go to
Look,
one
this is pi,
fraction.
right?
Yeah.
Good work.
Break the four sections. One,
So-
two, three, four.
you know that you need to find pi over 4.
Think about it. This
But
is
the little mark on here is pi over 2. So,
This is all.
huh? Yeah, it'd be right there.
This is-
But is it going, are you starting by going up or down?
Yeah. So the actual root is pi.
So you're gonna plot your point at pi over 4 and you're good.
So you see what's
Get a German
And then the next quarter. With me down. And then the next quarter.
Next one. If you got the first one, I'm gonna go with next one. 2 cosine of 1/2 of x.
I need a page.
Is it the same thing for cosine?
Cosine is gonna start at where? You look at the chart.
the top. It's 30.
Same idea, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
And then what do you think negative is? Like straight out. I'm trying to think. And then what is the
No. Here, right here, right? The next increment is gonna be pi over 4. Look, you got 0, pi over 4, 2 pi over 4, 3 pi over 4, 4 pi over 4. It does not oscillate like this.
The period, no, it's 2 pi over, it's 2 pi over b.
It's 2, yeah, it's 2 pi over, yeah.
Think about it, this is $1. What do you think this is? 50 cents, right? What do you think here it is? Good. Which is 25 cents, which is pi over 4. Here's 3 pi over 4. So your thing should have changed like here to here. And you see your next one, you didn't follow your changes. It's right here. Do you see that? So your graph is wrong. Over. Now that's good.
So it's just pi 2, pi 3, pi 4, pi, right?
said pi 2 and I said x.
Graph it on the last one? No, yeah, this one would
But
have
it
been
would be
on.
graph.
Good. You did it. Would have been on here.
Then they would do
Right, and then the next one is gonna be pi 4. Think about it, this is a pi, this is a dollar. A dollar divided by 4, this is one each quarter periods, quarter pies. So now, here it's gonna go here, and it's gonna go up to the maximum, and come back down.
Yep.
Would I start like writing the like 4 pi or just pi?
For what, your points or for your?
Yes.
Quarter.
No, well,
Quarter pi.
this is
So your 5 pi divided by,
yeah, but it's not
Or
going
4
from
pi.
the max to the mid.
How does it start
Go
from
from the max
Huh?
to the middle. Look, when you max, it's gonna go to the next one, is middle.
Because I think cosine starts at 1, right? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. and
Mr.
that's
Yes,
pi.
I know. Okay. So since cosine starts at 1,
Wait,
they were not
just like-
It's not one, look, it's
It's
2.
2. I knew that.
Oh.
I know. The both of the way.
Yeah, so period
And then
and
I
the
get-
quarter period. is
Yes.
Okay.
Guys, you need to learn how to check a decimal. Decimal, you can change the steps to pi, and you can check your answers. No.
over 1? Oh, yeah,
So, guys, if before you go, I can just grab this really quickly. This one is gonna be pi, and this one is 2 pi, because quarter period is gonna be pi. So I start at a 2 unit on the top. Cosine start on the top. It's gonna go like this.
Wait, Daniel, what did you try to?
I got it.
Oh, never mind.
I was confused, but I got it.
See, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it has to run to the negative. No, it's still the same thing.
Mr. You want me to stop it?
Yeah, I was
I did
trying to
math.
start it from the negative.
Mr. You want me to stop it?
Do we give you the test?
No.